Hi everyone, my name is Roberto Croci. I'm Managing Director for Microsoft for Startups across Middle East and Africa region. It's a great pleasure being a partner to the Fintech Nations hackathon. We are looking forward to new ideas and we already have a wave of great fintechs across the region, so we are definitely looking forward to see more innovation happening on the financial services industry. At first glance, fintech investment in the MENA region may not appear very substantial compared to other leading regions. Globally, fintech investments in the MENA region makes up only about 1% of global fintech VC investment. However, VC numbers do not tell the whole story. If you think about it, focusing on that level of investment in the region obscures several other important demographic trends and industry-related developments that are quite favorable to the development of fintech across the Middle East and Africa region. In fact, the fintech space has witnessed huge growth in the MENA region last year. Even in times of COVID-19 and the pandemic, fintech domain topped in terms of the number of VC funding deals in the MENA region. If you look at the Magnet Research, for example, in 2020, the fintech sector attracted approximately 20% of the total number of VC funding deals happened across the MENA region. When it comes to innovation, the fintech sector saw growth with the emergence and acceleration of concepts like buy now, pay later, digital lending, e-wallets, points of sales enablers, and more. Three key factors have been driving the emergence of fintech hubs in the region. First of all, it is an ecosystem conducive to new financial alternatives. It's also an ecosystem where government is at the center of efforts to drive innovation as part of a larger remit. And finally, it's also an ecosystem particularly interested in attracting international talent as a means of stimulating innovation domestically. Think about it, Saudi Arabia and the UAE are working on a regional cryptocurrency solution that was agreed the year before in 2019. Israel has set targets to implement an open banking directive by March 2021. Bahrain has built a live and dynamic domestic fintech ecosystem, Bahrain Fintech Bay, which represents the area's most dynamic and diverse fintech network probably in the region. And in Dubai, regulators like the IFC or in Abu Dhabi ADGM are really pushing the boundaries to enable more innovation coming through fintechs. Think about the IFC. The IFC saw a 25% increase in new companies registering in the first half of 2020, making Dubai home to more than 50% of fintech companies in MENA only. So digital is taking off in the region. So this is a fact. A study from Deloitte, for example, I was reviewing recently, found that about 80% of people in the region are willing to start using fintech solutions. And about 60% of these are motivated to use technology that directly addresses their banking needs. So thanks to a growing need for inclusion and accessibility, I believe the Middle East is slowly but surely going digital. And in May last year, the Gulf Cooperation Council predicted an increased interest in fintech platforms, particularly digital payment apps, due to COVID-19. In fact, the way customers are choosing to manage their finances has changed dramatically, possibly irreversibly, and maybe accelerated by the COVID-19 and the pandemic. And fintechs in the area have been reaping the benefits of the lockdown restrictions and bank branch closures. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Bahrain's digital wallet Benefit Pay saw 1,000% growth in the number of remittance payments through its Fawry platform in March last year alone. Other great kids on the block solutions like Tabby and Spotty, they are two great solutions for buy now, pay later fintech. They both have been founded in the UAE last year during COVID, and they are the region's first buy now and pay later e-commerce offering. Their potential is starting to shine. If you think in June last year, Tabby raised $7 million to fund their growth and secured their launch in Saudi Arabia. So according to Visa, the UAE remains a hub for e-commerce growth, and Middle East nations are ahead of more mature e-commerce markets in terms of internet penetration. So this presents a huge opportunity to create more convenient ways for customers to shop online and to open up e-commerce to a broader demographic. For example, people on lower incomes or people who struggle to access credit might be the ideal target market for this kind of offering. Think about a great fintech from the region like Sarwa. Sarwa was elected by DIFC to receive investment for being one of the most innovative companies in the region. And so far they've raised an impressive $9.10 million in funding. They are an investment advisory platform that helps customers make their money work for them. So their ambition is to help people build a better future with expert, affordable, and easy investing. It starts by establishing your financial goals and risk appetite. Then they create an investing plan that meets your risk tolerance and time horizon. And features such as portfolio rebalancing, auto-depositing, and human advisors help Sarwa to strike the balance of automating investing with a human touch. The fintech ecosystem then in the Middle East is characterized by a certain degree of contradiction and dichotomy with limited alignment between customer expectations and bank offerings. So definitely the ecosystem is evolving rapidly when it comes to deploying innovative solutions. However, it is struggling to attract additional financing that will boost its footprint and impact. On the corporate side of things, banks, financial institutions are keen to engage with fintechs in a broad range of exploratory projects. However, they are still reluctant to integrate fintechs into their strategy, as they prefer, say, to follow a wait-and-see kind of approach. And customer behavior across the Middle East, especially in Saudi, is characterized by a willingness to adopt innovative solutions offered by banks, in particular when it comes to peer-to-peer money transfers, account aggregation, and automated investment advice. However, banks are not really leveraging the full suite of fintech solutions features that are available to address customer needs and requirements to enhance the daily banking journey and experience. And that's probably the key. A lot of the battleground in the future and in the present already is about the customer experience, right? So the way forward, as we see it, when it comes to innovation and technology, is about harmonization and trust. Definitely, there are at least two key levers that require urgent attention to enable the Middle East fintech ecosystem to reach its potential. So one is definitely the need for regulatory harmonization within each of the countries in the Middle East, because in the Middle East fintech ecosystem it's very fragmented, and ultimately across several Middle East countries there are these cross-border payments and different regulations that make it difficult to scale across the region. The second lever is developing trusting relationships between banks and fintechs and integrating the latter in banking strategies on the basis of a long-standing partnership to meet increasing customer expectations. So we touched based upon personalization, right? So banks, if you think about it, banks have been targeting customer microsegments and tailoring offers to them for decades. So it's not an innovative or a new concept, but these capabilities, until recently, have been sufficient to help banks differentiate their institutions, build customer engagement, and gain competitive advantage. But the reality is, this advantage is eroding. Banks are being leapfrogged by retailers and tech-savvy companies that put personalization at the center of their business models and successfully scale it to achieve significant performance gains. The true promise of personalization is being able to go beyond next best offers and targeted marketing and create more customized, relevant end-to-end experiences for customers. So in order to achieve this, banks must really understand what personalization is, but also what personalization is not, and really forge a strategic agenda to scale it. Because personalization in banking is not primarily about selling. We believe that it's mainly about providing service, provide information, provide advice, often on a daily basis or even several times a day. So such interactions, as opposed to infrequent sales communications, as is still the case today, are at the center of the customer's banking experience. Yet many banks still tend to focus their personalization efforts on the sales arena. So that's why we believe that a new breed of challenger banks and fintechs are already making their name in the market They come without the legacy of traditional banks and with an incredible focus on customer experience, as we were saying, but also on loyalty, on personalization. And guess what? Time is of the essence. Those institutions that seize the challenge most rapidly and deliver true end-to-end personalization will create a significant advantage over their competitors. And this is the role that Microsoft is playing by being a technology player that provides startups in the region access to technology and access to markets. We have a program, Microsoft for Startups, that we launched in the region a year ago to onboard startups that meet some criteria, that startups that have enterprise solutions that address use cases and challenges that corporate have in fintech space, that banks and financial institutions have, to provide this innovation and being agile and really bring new innovation and real value and impact to the corporates. So on the technology side, we definitely help startups that join the program with access to technology in terms of credits to build on Microsoft Azure, but also licenses for other products. And we support startups when it comes to building a solid architecture, optimizing their costs, integrating with third-party apps, plugging into Sandbox or digital labs, and building products that can scale. Think about also a roadmap to the future. We are doing a lot of investment, for example, in quantum computing. And technology has always played an important role in the financial sector. So quantum computing, with its ability, will be able to solve much complex problems and is also expected to answer some of the most challenging questions in the financial services industry. For example, quantum computing is expected to be a strong driver for innovation, revolutionizing trading, credit scoring, underwriting, risk management, cybersecurity. So this is one side of the help we provide to startups in the region, to fintechs in the region. The other side is go-to-market. So in our program, we designed a journey where we onboard startups onto the Microsoft Marketplace. We help the startup to publish their solution, offer trials, becoming transactable. So we take the startup on a journey to move from being market ready to be more enterprise ready, appealing to corporates, appealing to financial institutions and banks. And the ones that will become transactable on the marketplace, we can turn them into partners, where we have designed a sales incentive process for our Microsoft sellers and partners to help accelerate sales and growth for startups that will become co-sell ready and co-sell with Microsoft. So for us, this is a huge point of differentiation. It's a huge focus in the region. For example, we helped a startup that built a solution to digitize the claim process for insurance companies built on Microsoft Azure and blockchain to close deals with 8 out of the 9 largest insurance companies in the UAE. And then we're helping them scale across the broader Middle East region, from Saudi to Kuwait and Bahrain to start with. I hope the session was useful, relevant, and definitely reach out to me for further engagement on fintech and financial services when it comes to startups and innovation in the region. Looking forward to being in touch, and really excited and thrilled about an exciting hackathon with fintech nations this year. Thank you. Thank you very much. Have a very good day.
Startups face many challenges as they look to scale and grow. These challenges vary from access to customers, access to funding, closing funding many a times, as well as the ability to work with partners and stakeholders in an efficient and organized manner.
We are really excited to bring the Microsoft for Startups program to the Middle East region because we see a unique opportunity to help startups in the region to thrive and accelerate their growth.
The program is built on 2 pillars: access to technology, where Microsoft enables the startups on its technology, Then the second pillar is go-to-market. We take a community approach to our Microsoft for Startups program in the Middle East. That means through social networking sessions with VCs, corporate partners, as well as our startup community partners such as incubators and accelerators, we provide access in a shared environment for idea sharing and opportunity sharing. Well, first of all, for the startups, we help them cut costs, but we also accelerate their sales, whilst we support them from a technological perspective and we mentor them throughout this whole process.
We are always looking for startups to join our program.
If you are a high-growth, high-potential startup and looking for the next step up, reach out to us either via the social media channels, directly via one of the team members, or our landing page.